is your vitamin M. This is your motivation for the week. Get your vitamins. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, get your vitamins. 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 I see you getting your vitamins. Hey, I see you getting your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Hey, get your vitamins. Hey, yes! Listen, we are in the house on tonight. We are in the house on tonight. Welcome to the Vitamin M Show. I am your host, Marshall Sterling, and I see you getting your recommended dose of Vitamin M. It is recommended that you watch the show at least once a week on Sunday nights. And if you don't catch us on Sunday nights, I hope you catch the replay. I hope you catch the replay. I hope you catch the replay. Shows on demand. And if you need to go all the way back, if you are new and you are joining us, welcome. I am Marshall Sterling. I am your fire starter. I am your cheerleader. I am your hype girl. I am the one to get you all fired up. I'm here to light you on fire. Up in here, say fire. Up in here. Listen, once again, it is the middle of the year and we are just pausing to take a step back. We are pausing to go back and to reflect. And so on tonight, I decided that what better time than to go back and to reflect on habits, because we need to make sure that we are keeping our habits in check so that we are able to get where we want to go. So listen, if we're going to go and tonight's show is going to be all about reflecting on our habits. Remember, we did our habit mini series and we're going to reflect on our mini series on tonight. So remember, the habits are defined as settled or regular tendency or practice. It is something that we do often. It is something that we repeat over and over and over and over again. And remember, it can be a practice, a custom, a routine, but it's something that we do regularly. It's something that we do all the time. So listen, when we think about that, remember, our habits can be good or they can be bad. When we think about our habits, though, when we reflect back in our mind, you're at a good point in the year. Is there something that you need to get rid of? Is there something that you have allowed to come into your world that you maybe need to dump off and throw it overboard? Remember, habits can be good or they can be bad. But when it's something that is not working to your benefit, you need to evaluate that habit and determine if you need to adjust or make a shift or a change. Check out our video from habits. What do you need to lose, ditch, get rid of that's not benefiting your life and where you desire to go? You want to come on in the room. Let's talk about it. We all have things in our lives that we need to tweak, that we need to change. And sometimes you just need to outright run from it and ditch it and just go the total opposite direction, because those things are not getting you where you want to be. So let's talk about it. Something very simple, because listen, I don't want to be all up in your business and I don't want you like, oh my God, but I want you to stop into that and listen, what it say, to your own self, whoever said it. I'm not trying to sell old cliche, but what I am saying is that you can lie to everybody else, but please don't lie to yourself. Again, you can lie to all the rest of us, but don't lie to your own self. Be truthful to you. Look at your own life and determine, what do I really need to get rid of? What do I need to run away from? That's not benefited me. So I can tell you a couple of things. Hitting snooze in the morning time, because when I hit snooze, I already know what's going to happen. And all the snoozers, raise your hand. Yes, up, snoozers in the house, snoozers in the house. What? You already know you snooze. We snooze, and then what happened? Then we run around like a chicken with our neck cut off, trying to get dressed and make it to work on time. Only if we would have just gotten up when the alarm clock went off. All the people, that included me, that at times we stay up a little bit too late. Again, all the late stayers in the house, raise your hand. You know it's you. Yes, I'm probably talking to you too. All the people that stay up way too late. And then what does that do? That makes you what? Hit the snooze button in the morning time, because you like, I just need a few more minutes of sleep. You should have went to bed. We should have went to bed last night, but we did not. So now we still once again running around, and then we fussing at people. We mad, we angry, and then our whole day is thrown off because all we had to do was get up. All we do is get up on time. Don't hit the snooze button and get up on time. But how about the night before you should have went to bed? Because your yesterday night self would have loved your morning self had you went to bed. When we think about habits, once again, I'm reminding you that habits are defined as a settled, or it is a settled or regular practice or tendency. It is something that we do often. It is something that we do over and over and over and over again. And when we think about our habits, when we think about the habits that we set up in our lives, do you remember when we talked about that we are in a competition? Because when you think about your habits, you are not correcting your habits for other people. You are not setting up habits to benefit others. You are setting up habits to benefit yourself. They should catapult you forward. Your habits should be in such a way that they get you to the life that you want to have, the one that you desire, the one that you have dreamed about. And remember that we are in a competition. But Marshall, I asked, who are we in a competition with? We are in a competition with ourselves. It's me against me. I'm setting the bar for my own self. I'm trying to beat my own record. I am trying to outdo myself so that I can impact the world that is around me. We are in a competition. We are in a competition. Yes, you don't hear me say it often, but we are in a competition. What do you mean, Marshall, when you say that we're in a competition? Yes, we are. Yes, you are. You are in a competition competing against yourself. You are competing against yourself. You are creating an environment for yourself so that you can be a better version of yourself than you were before. You are competing. It is a competition so that you walk out on the other side a winner, so that you get everything that you want out of life.
We hope you are enjoying the show so far. The Vitamin M Show will return after these messages.
Are you looking for a way to present your product, service, or event to a new audience? Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Act now if you would like to be featured or advertise on the Vitamin M Show with Marshall Sterling. This is your chance to present your product, service, or event in over 200 million homes. Do not miss this opportunity. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
Are you a winner? Are you a winner? Are you setting up your habits and your life in such a way that you get what you want? Listen, if you are on Team Sterling, we are winners. All we do is win no matter what. We are winners, and we set up our world in such a way that it catapults us to success. It gets us where we want to go. Remember that habits are vital to your success. The key to your success, yes, is your one word. It is your mindset. It is your attitude. But with all of that, you have to set yourself up with your habits, because if you practice the things that are not benefiting you, then you are not going to get anywhere. All I'm going to say is about this coming up clip is, what are your habits doing for you? What are your habits doing for you? I'm going to say it again. What are your habits doing for you? Are your habits working for you, or are your habits working against you? Check out our clip. Let me tell you something. Habits are something that are vital to our lives. We eat, sleep, and breathe habits. We don't go in this life. You don't exist in this life without the habits that help you to get through. The habits either do one of two things. When they go in a cycle, our habits either propel us forward or our habits hold us back. Did you hear that? Our habits either propel us to go forward, to move in a forward direction, or our habits begin to hold us back and stop us from doing the things that we know that we want or desire to do. So my question to you is, what are your habits doing for you? Are your habits propelling you forward? Are they pushing you? Are the things that you've done so far this year, is it propelling you where you want and desire to go? Or have you got yourself stuck in a rut and you're not moving forward because you've formed these habits that now are not necessarily benefiting you and getting you where you want to go? So I hope that you are enjoying our listen. We're going back down memory lane. We are highlighting and reminding ourselves that this is a great time for a check-in. This is a great time for a post check. I am here to check your pulse. I am here to check your pulse. This is a post check. Are you still alive? Are you still breathing? Are you still working? Are you still in the game? Or have you quit? Have you decided to give up? If you are a part of Team Sterling and you're watching this, we are not quitters. We are winners. All we do is win. Listen, we may go down for a little while, and I may have to lean on the ring for a little bit on the rope. I may have to hold on to the rope, but I'm not going to have to hold on to the rope long. Why? Because I'm going to come out winning. I'm going to come out winning. I'm going to come out doing those things that I know that I need to do. And when I think about that, I have to think about my focus. What or who are you focused on? What or who are you focused on? Listen, whatever you're focused on, that is what you produce. I do not know how to say that to you in another way. If you are focused on the things that are negative, if you have a scarcity mindset, if you believe that you are not enough, then you're not. You have to focus on all the things that you have to offer to this world, and your habits are those things that get you there. What are you focused on, and what habit are you surrounding? What habit are you putting with it? Because your focus should be on what you want. You should set up a habit of positive affirmations so that I am able to get out of life what I want to go and see. What is your focus? What is your focus? What do you want to see? What do you desire? I think I said it best in these clips. So we have to make an effort together as a family, as a Sterling Inner Circle. We have to make an effort to get rid of the things in our life that are truly not going where we want to go or doing what we want to do. They're not benefiting us. What are those things? Because whatever you focus on is what you produce. Whatever you focus on is what you produce, is what you grow more of. So If it's something in your life that you don't desire or that you don't care that much about, just think about it. If you're concentrating and you're putting more time and effort in time, and it's something you're doing over and over and over and over and over again, you just turned it into a habit. We just turned it together into a habit because we kept producing it. You are what you produce. So if we want something else, then we have to produce something else. We have to begin to cut out what we don't want and focus on what we really want. Cut out what you don't want and focus on what you do want. So for me, if I don't want to feel sluggish, then I need to cut out the sugar and I need to cut out the caffeine and replace it with something else. I need to replace it with water. I need to replace it with exercise. It could be anything else because I want to cut those things that I don't desire anymore. And I want to then produce the things that I do desire, because remember, a habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated regularly over and over and over and over and over again. And so sometimes we can produce and make something that we don't want a habit because we keep doing it over and over and over and over again.
The Vitamin M Show will return after these messages.
Marshall Sterling is available for your next event. Known for her energetic speaking style and down-to-earth teaching, Marshall has made a positive impact on her audience at every engagement. Whether it is a keynote address, conference, workshop, breakout session, or staff meeting, Marshall brings the same fire and excitement to every session. To bring the Sterling experience to your next event, scan the QR code on the screen, or go to www.marshallsterling.com.
Eliminate the triggers. Eliminate the triggers. If you remember in habits, when we talked about this before, we have to identify the triggers that are in our life. You have to stop and take the time to identify the triggers. What gets you to that point? And is there a trigger that needs to be eliminated? What do you need to shake it off, or shrug your shoulders and let it roll off your back? What do you need to do? In the words of Tweety Thomas' book that came on our show to talk about her book, Dismask. What do you need to dismask? What do you need to take off? Because you have to eliminate the triggers in your life to those things that don't produce what you want. Eliminate the triggers. So when we talk about eliminating triggers, to eliminate something means to cancel it. It means to break it. Eliminating triggers. How do you eliminate triggers? Because remember that I told you that everything that happens in your life, every habit, every routine, every practice, every custom, you do it for a reason. There is a reason behind it. It serves a purpose. So what you want to learn to do and what we have to learn to do collectively together, because I am also learning this as well. How do I eliminate the triggers? What purpose do they serve? And so you want to sit down with a piece of paper. I don't care. You're on my Surface. I can write on my Surface. If you can write on your iPad or whatever it is, I want you to stop and I want you to think about what habits do you have? Is it something that you want or something that you don't want? If it's something that you wish to change, what is it? And then what is the trigger? So this happens when I do this. So this is because it's one of those things, like I tell people about behavior with students. Before the student blew up, before that situation happened, what was the proceeding? What was the actions before it? What happened before? That's what you want to be able to do. And what you want to do is identify those triggers, the things that you don't want, and you want to name it. You want to own it. You want to write it down, and you want to take action. You want to do something about it, because let me tell you something. When they say name it and claim it, yes, like you got to name it and you got to claim it, whether it's good or bad. You have to, because it doesn't exist. What you say isn't there. So you have to then create an alternate plan behind it. So when I see this, then I'm going to do this instead. So listen, let me tell you how you eliminate those triggers. You plan out things that you want to do instead of. So I'm going to stay patient. I'm going to keep being my real self. And we are going to round out tonight. What better way than to close our habits? Then we have to talk about that habits go in a cycle. Habits go in a cycle. Habits go in a cycle. They go in a cycle. A cycle. It goes around and around and around and around and around, because you have your cue, you have your cravings, you have your response, and you have your reward. The cue, the cravings, the response, and the reward. What is the cue? What is the trigger that starts the behavior? What is the craving? What is the motivational force behind it? What is your response and what is the reward? Listen, I can't do it any better than the clip that you are about to see, but I'm telling you that our habits go in a cycle, and that's why it's hard to break, because you have to stop and you have to put a break on that cycle. So check out habits, the cycle, in these clips. We don't just start and stop doing things. Things flow in a cycle. Like we have a life cycle. It's the same thing. Things flow in a cycle. And so this part of our discussion, I always make sure that I give credit that these are not just 100% my ideas, because I don't want nobody coming for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. Don't come for me. I'm going to tell you where this came from. I love to read. I do a lot of reading, whether it is, I'm trying to get into ebooks, but hey, sidebar, I still like my books. I want to buy a book. I want to hold it. I want to open up the page. I want to do all that, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I am reading a book called Atomic Habits, and it is by James Clear. And one of the things that he talks about that makes a lot of sense to me is that our habits go in a cycle. And so the cycle of the habits are the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. So I'm going to say that again, because your girl has a stutter, so I want to make sure that I say it clear. The cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. It is a cycle. And so when he talks about, and we're talking about the cue, so I'm going to talk some of the things that James Clear offers us, and then I'm going to add my own little spin, my takeaways, how I view it, and just my own other research from outside sources that all talk about habits. Because remember, I told you there is a lot of research out there about habits. And so when we talk about a cue is the trigger that triggers the brain to initiate a behavior. It is the trigger that talks to the brain, that basically tells the brain, hey, do this. Then there is the craving. It is the motivational force behind the habit. The motivational force behind the habit. Then it is the response. It's the actual habit, which can take the form of a thought or an action. And then there is the reward. And who doesn't love rewards? It is the actual end goal of the habit. So if you have that, you may have to listen to that again. The cue is the trigger. It's what triggers you to do the behavior. The craving, it's the motivational force. Why do I want to do it? The response is the habit. How do you respond in response to whatever the craving is? And then that response becomes the reward. It is who doesn't like rewards? It is my reward that I satisfy my cue, and then the cycle continues over and over and over and over and over again. And it just keeps going. So what I'm telling you is that let's talk about some of our habits And what that looks like when we talk about that they are in a cycle, that they go round and round and round and round and round. And so remember that what you want to be, so before I start and I'll go there, what we want to be careful of, we want to be careful of the fact that because it goes in a circle and because it is a cycle of response, you have to be careful how you respond to the trigger because you can attach the wrong thing. We have to be careful in our response because the response becomes the reward that we attach to the cue. So you attach them all together and the cycle continues, which is why it is hard and difficult at times to break something that you don't want to do, because you have to replace that response and reward with something else when you have the trigger. This has been your Vitamin M. I am so excited and grateful and glad that we were able to spend this time together on tonight. Listen, in a cycle, we were cycling back to habits, going back over what are your habits doing for you? What are your habits doing for you? Take a pulse check and ensure that your habits are getting you where you want to be. This has been your Vitamin M, and this girl, your motivational girl, your hype girl, will see you on next week.
Join us next week to get your weekly dose of Vitamin M. Book Marshall for your next event. Join the Sterling Inner Circle today. Advertise with us. Scan here to set up your discovery call. Let's grow together. Please visit our website at www.marshallsterling.com.